What can I do today to improve? What can I do today to learn? It is the tiny steps taken consistently day in, day out that get us across the finish line. If you're only looking for quantum leaps, you're never going to get anywhere.
Y'all, today's show is so good.
But number one, I've never seen an intro like that.
It is my hope and desire that not only will episode 30 still be fun, but episode 300 will be even more fun. You were made for something great, so go and be awesome.
Ten seconds remaining.
My name is Renee Hastings, and I'm your host of Renee Speaks. Y'all, today's show is going to be so good, and that's primarily because of our sponsor, Executive Help Now. At Executive Help Now, we're all about simplifying your business so you can focus on what really matters. From streamlining operations to managing administrative tasks, we make things organized to help you thrive. So hit us up at www.executivehelpnow.org. Y'all, today's guest is Tammy Johnston, known as the Hold Your Hand and Kick Your Business Coach, dedicated to helping small business owners build sustainable and successful futures. With over 20 years of experience, Tammy empowers entrepreneurs with practical, battle-tested strategies to navigate the challenges of business growth. Believing that business done right, honestly, ethically, and morally has the power to create positive change for customers, families, and communities, Tammy equips her clients with the foundational skills needed to first survive and then to thrive. While she doesn't promise a magic bullet, because there is no such thing, she delivers real-world training and advice that gets results. Y'all, put your hands together for Tammy Johnston!
Hello, Renee.
How are you?
I am doing very well. How about you?
I am fantastic. Thank you. I am so super excited to have you on our show today.
I am very happy to be here.
So, Tammy, I know that there have been so many coaches that we've talked to, and different coaches have different specialties, amazing frames of reference that really move the needle when it comes to helping entrepreneurs and business owners discover the things that are lacking and give them good guidance and direction on how to fix it, how to make it better, how to be profitable, how to basically, like you said, thrive in their area. So why don't you tell us a little bit, tell our audience about you, how you got started on this journey, and what inspired you to become a business coach with your life?
That is an excellent question that I get asked quite regularly. So my background actually is in financial services. I've been in financial services for over 32 years now. And when I was fired from a job I absolutely hated about 10 years in, I finally decided, okay, I'm going to take the leap and start my business like everybody's been telling me I should for years and years. And so in that moment, I decided to go out and start my business and go into sales for myself. And that was a huge, terrifying undertaking because one of the things that I sell life insurance. And nobody ever wants to talk to a life insurance salesperson. Like, we are the walking joke. You want to clear a room, tell somebody you sell life insurance, and everybody is heading for the hills. But I started working and I started being connected with a lot of self-employed and small business owners. And one of the things that I was discovering when I was sitting down with them and getting into the nitty-gritty of their personal finances, started discovering that they needed a lot of help with their business stuff. They were technicians. They technically knew their product or service, but they did not have the business skills. And I've been studying money, business, and success since I was 7 years old. A lot of my job back when I was employed were hiring the agents, teaching them how to sell, like how to set up their business, all of this stuff. So I started helping my clients with that because I had a greedy, motivated self-interest to see them be successful, because broke people can't afford investments or insurance, which is the stuff I got paid on.
That's right.
So I started helping them, and they started seeing such positive results in their business. They started sending me their friends and their colleagues and that. And very quickly I discovered, okay, I need to find ways of leveraging this. So I created my first small business class over 20 years ago, and it's been growing since then. And then 2019, I actually split my business in two. So I still have my personal financial planning business, and then I have KSA, where I focus on teaching the business owners.
Nice. That is so awesome. So I know you're in Canada.
Yes.
And I know, and here in the US, there's the Small Business Administration, and they have all these classes that they hold for people who want to start businesses and don't really exactly know all of the ins and outs of what it takes to be a successful business owner. So is that kind of the same type program that you provide to folks in Canada?
I actually have clients all over the world, as long as they speak English, because my Spanish is very poquita. I work with them because the basics of business are the same no matter where you are. Like, yes, your tax laws are going to be different in some of the legal things, but the basic foundational pieces are the same no matter where you are, what the business is, if it's product or service or what industry, it doesn't matter. The foundational pieces are all the same. And yes, I've learned a lot about the American Small Business Administration, and they've got a lot of very good things. So a lot of what they do, yes, I do, and then more.
Tell us about the more.
One of the things that I've discovered through both businesses is the number one part of my business is counseling, especially marriage counseling.
What? Marriage counseling for business owners?
Oh, especially for the business owners, dear. I go through so many boxes of these when I'm meeting with clients in person, because I make big burly truck drivers cry and tradespeople and all of that, because there is so much fear and shame and all of this stuff. And we all have our itty bitty shitty committee running around in our head that's telling us all the ways that we're screwing up and we're an idiot and all this stuff. And how do we deal with this? And especially when you are setting foot into the entrepreneurial space for the first time, you don't have safe people to talk to. It's not that people don't love you and don't support you, but when we're struggling, we don't want to put that burden on our spouse a lot of the time, because that's just going to add to the stress and the help that they'll try to give you. They've never set foot in the arena. They don't know what they're talking about. It'd be like me trying to come and teaching somebody to speak Chinese. I don't speak Chinese. So me teaching them would be pointless. So when you're working with, like, when you're surrounded by people that are employees and you're trying to learn about being an entrepreneur, it is a completely different language, a completely different game.
Yeah, that is very true. So I have definitely, so I used to work for corporate America as well, and then decided to break off from that after many years in corporate America. And actually at one point swearing I would never own my own business, just because I love the comforts of paid vacations and, and so I was like, no, someone presented to me, you should own your own business. I'm like, no, absolutely not. But God has the plans that are unbeknownst to us. And so then when that happened, I'm like, the whole way you think about the things that you've done in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it applies, most of it doesn't.
Yep, most of it doesn't.
It doesn't. And I'm just like, wait, I got to have what conversation with who about what? And I'm like, I wasn't prepared for this.
Yeah. Because we're not taught about business. And I have a lot of clients that have gone to university and colleges and taken business degrees and all that stuff. And it's not that they didn't learn good things, but so much of it is missing the practical stuff. Like, how do you structure your day, your week? What are the things that are actually important? How do you deal with all these challenges where a lot of the stuff that people are learning is it's great, but it's high level. And especially in the beginning, people are like, you have to teach them at the kindergarten level because that's where they are.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So what are some common misconceptions, would you say, that most business owners have about success?
Oh, there's quite a few different misconceptions. So it kind of depends on what their personality type is and what their strengths are, because everybody comes in with strengths and weaknesses. So I found the vast majority of people that start businesses are what I call like the bunny rabbits. They're great idea people. They don't have a problem with the sales. They could sell ice to the Eskimos, as the old saying goes. Mm-hmm. They don't have a problem with that. Like, their problem is actually getting back to the office or the shop or whatever and delivering on it, because they're always wanting to go out. And a lot of the time, as soon as they figured things out in their head, they're on to the next thing. So they're not really very good at the follow through. They can have lots of customers coming in, and the customers love them, but they're having problems because you said that you were going to get me this, you forgot about, and all this stuff. So they have other issues. They need to understand the financials. They need to learn about systems. They need to learn about their advisory, like everything. What are they doing? Marketing is typically not their problem. And then I find that the other main people are what I call the owl types. They are the ones where you give them a job and they are going to wow you. They're going to knock your socks off. It is going to be delivered above and beyond. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Their workspace is put together. Their accountant loves them because everything is done properly. Their problem is you say, okay, you're in business now. You have to go out and talk to real live human beings and let them know that you can help them with their problems. And those people are going to have a coronary the moment you say that, because they're going, but I'm really good at what I do. Isn't that enough? Build it and they will come. No, they won't. They don't even know you exist.
That's right. Oh, that is so true. So true. I can relate so well because I've been on this entrepreneurial journey for quite some time, but for the first about 8 years or so, it was a side hustle. I put a side hustle in air quotes. And so I still had the comforts and security of my full-time day job, but only for the past 2.5, almost 3 years, have I been 100% in the business as a business owner, entrepreneur, fully 100 dedicated with no safety net.
I personally love that you did it that way, because like I said, my background is financial services. One of the things I sell is life insurance, and that's all about like gambling. We're professional gamblers, and we're very, very good at it. And it's okay. How do you reduce the risk? So having that day job and learning how to build your business while you still have some of that stability and the safety. And I say, okay, if my favorite people to get are what I call the praying for the pink slip crowd. They want to start their own business, but they want that package in there so that they've got a little bit of time and that cushion to move. And they're going, please, can I get the slip the next round so that I can get out of here? And I'm going, yes. So let's start building things now and do it properly, because the sad facts are most businesses fail within the first 2 years. It's like 90% don't make it. Like if you go onto the official U.S. government website, if it still works since January 20th, 2025, it's officially, it's like 76.6%. But a lot of people, when they're first starting out and they're doing their side hustles, they're not like going and getting the business, they're trying it out. So those ones aren't even listed. And most are failing, not because there's a problem with the product or the service. They're failing because they're lacking some or a lot of the basic business skills. And I told you I finally started my business because I was fired from a job that I hated. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me because I was already interviewing for other jobs. One more week, I would have been to a better place with better pay, better title, all that. Would have been the same poop, different pile.
Right.
And I went into my business much better prepared than the vast majority of people. And I still really, really struggled my first 2 years as I'm having to figure out all of this stuff. And I go, if I could go back and talk to me 1 year before and say, okay, this is going to happen, or you want to get out of here, here's stuff that you can start putting together, it would have made my life a million times easier. And I'm one of the lucky ones that survived and have gone on to thrive. Like I've been running my own business for like 24 years now.
Yay! Hand claps. That was so good.
Yeah,
I'm
and
so
that's
proud of you.
time.
What is that? That's no easy feat. Like you said, most businesses shut down after the first year. Is that what you said? Year or 2 years?
Yeah, most don't make it past the 2-year mark. Very few make it to the 10, because for the ones that make it past the 5-year mark, usually by the time they hit 10, the business owner is so burned out that they sell, quick, give up, or whatever. And I'm going, it's not necessary. Business is, when it is done right, and anybody can learn it, it is not for everybody, because I've literally had people come to my class and spend a weekend with me and come up to me afterwards and go, you know what, now that I really understand what's all involved, it's not for me. And I'm going, wonderful. I am so glad you figured it out now, rather than when you've put in all this time and effort and your life savings to figure out that, you know what, this is not what you want to be doing.
Right. That's good. Yeah, better to recognize that before you get all the debt, all of the late nights trying to juggle all the things. Yeah. So, question for you, reflecting back on your own journey, what would you say are like the key things? If somebody is thinking, oh, I have this great idea, or I have this desire to do this particular thing, and I think I could turn it into a business, what are the basic things that they need to have in order for them to have a firm foundation or firm footing for success?
So all businesses need to have the 8 foundational pieces. 8 foundational pieces are first mindset and habits. Like you said, thinking and how you do things as an entrepreneur is very, very different than how you do it as an employee. And one of the biggest things, especially when people are first starting out, when you're an employee, somebody else is telling you what you need to do, when you need to do it, basically how you need to do it, who you're needing to do it for, all of that stuff. Somebody else is telling you what you need to do. When you are the boss, you have to figure all of that out. And especially in the beginning, a lot of people are putting a lot of time, effort, and money into stuff that doesn't matter. They're working hard on stuff they shouldn't really be working on. Then they need to know what their vision, mission, and values are. Like, what are they trying to build? There's a lot of people that just start getting into things and then they're wondering why it doesn't work, because they're going, okay, if you were going on vacation, you need to know where you're going to go. Because if you're in Atlanta, Georgia, and you want to go, okay, I want to go to Alaska, or I want to go visit the Philippines, or I want to go to California, they're all perfectly fine destinations, but you're going to do things differently depending on where you want to end up. Or a lot of people just end up, they're driving around the block, and they're going, how come we're not getting anywhere?
Right.
You need to have your marketing. No sales, there's no point of having anything. Like, sales are everything. So your marketing / with your sales. Your advisory team. Most people are getting their business advice from their broke ass friends and family that have never set foot in the arena and wonder why it's not good advice. And it's not even because they're trying to hurt you or anything, but like you said, you're not going to ask me to teach you how to speak Chinese because I don't know what I'm talking about. You need to have the right people on your team, and it doesn't mean they have to be on your payroll or anything like that, but bad advice is the worst thing that you can do. You have to understand your financials. And that is the number one thing that I find all business owners pretty much avoid, or if they get things going, it's the first thing that they abdicate. I don't even say delegate, I say abdicate. They're going, unless I've got millions coming in and I getting excited with positive tingles when I'm looking at the bank account, they don't want to have anything to do with that. They think it's a necessary evil. And they're missing all of the beautiful stories that their numbers can tell them to run their business better, to help people, to see opportunities, to plan things, because they think that they're scary. They think, oh, it's math and it's complicated. Can you count, add, subtract, divide, and multiply? That's all you need. And learning how to do that stuff. Systems. No systems, no business. It's just a job that owns you that you're never going to get a break from.
That part. Yes.
Setting them up so that you are delivering more results, better results, consistent results, being able to delegate and download and all of this stuff. And then cash flow and profit. You need to have all 8 of those pieces or you do not have a business.
Wow. That is so great. I absolutely love the breakdown. And I love the part where you said your broke friends cannot teach you how to be rich. They absolutely cannot. And absolutely knowing your numbers. And I kind of smirked a little bit when you were talking about the numbers because I think I'm an abdicator.
That would make you normal.
Because, you know, when I got into business, I was like, I just want to help people and I want to do what comes naturally for me, which is organizing things and structuring things and partnering with executives and making their lives easier. So that's all I want to do. I don't want to go out and sell. I don't want to have to figure books. I don't want to do all that stuff. I just, those are not my gifts. They're just not.
They don't need to be your gifts, but you do need to know that they're important. You need to have a basic understanding, because otherwise, how can you delegate to somebody that is competent, qualified, and gives a damn if you don't even know enough to be able to figure out if they can do the job?
Right. Oh, yeah, that's a great way of looking at it. A good perspective to come from. Because if I don't at least have some semblance of what A and B is supposed to equal, then I can look at this balance sheet or these profit and loss statements and it'd be like deer in headlights. But, you know, I'll need to know. If I don't know what a particular number means, how do I know that it's off?
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, super, super, super important. Great advice.
When I work with my clients on the financials, because like I said, it's, especially with my background, I'm able to come into this an awful lot better. As soon as I start explaining things to people and, okay, this is what it says, and here's the questions that it can get you to start asking, they get excited. They're going, how come nobody's ever explained this to me before? They're just saying, okay, yeah, I need to have my tax and stuff like this. I'm going, no, when you actually start to understand this, it's something that you want to do. It helps you make so much better decisions. And like you said, see opportunities. And then they get, like I said, I love seeing their faces light up because I can do things like make budgeting exciting. And that's considered a form of work.
I love it. I love it. And I really, and like I mentioned to you that I've been doing this business for quite some time, and I was never excited about the numbers until I started reading this book called Profit First. And it's by Mike Michalowicz, and it is a funny book about numbers, if you can imagine.
Oh, I can, dear. I can.
But he started out with the napkin, something about a napkin, and then the pumpkin plan, and then Profit First. And then I think there's another book, but they all kind of go in a sequence of building a business, knowing your numbers and things to do, not to do, and where to make your money or put it so that you are always ready for whatever may happen. So anyways, reading that book helped me to get excited about looking at the numbers and knowing the importance of knowing your numbers. I was on a panel with a bunch of other, like 3 or 4 other women. The panel was moving your business to the $1 million mark. And one of them said, you've got to know your numbers. If you don't know anything else, know your numbers. Know what's coming in, know what's going out, know where things are, and constantly be assessing that situation so that nothing takes you by surprise. So in your experience, Tammy, what would you say are some things that business owners do, like habits that they have that separate successful businesses from failing businesses?
There's quite a few. If I had to pick out like my top 3, I'd say first one's working on the stuff that matters. Okay. The things that are going to move the needle in the short term and in the long term. And what those are for each person are going to be different. It's typically the stuff that we have to push ourselves to do, because we'll naturally do the stuff we like doing. So if you're good at the marketing and you're going, I love networking and doing all of this stuff, we don't need to make sure you're doing the networking. You're already doing that. But do you have your systems put together? Are you actually delivering on what you say you're going to do and stuff like that? So they need to be working on different things. My ones where, okay, no, you don't need to fine tune your filing system. Your system is good enough. Now get out and we need to get doing stuff on your marketing. Or, okay, we need to be looking after your financials because you're constantly getting phone calls from creditors. And it's not because you don't have the money. It's because you haven't gotten around to paying them because you're disorganized and you're avoiding it, or you're paying too much for different things or whatever. So making sure that you are taking time at least every week to be doing the quadrant 2 activities that are going to be moving you forward. And those are the things that, like I said, you have to push yourself to do, because if it's like, I'm so excited about doing this, you're going to do that automatically. It's the stuff that, like you said, you're trying, can I procrastinate on that just a little while longer?
Exactly. And for those that don't know what quadrant 2 is, there's the important and the urgent, the urgent and unimportant, the unimportant and not urgent. And then what is the fourth one?
Quadrant 2 is important, but not urgent.
Okay, got it.
So the important stuff, like if your taxes, it's not April 15th in the state or April 30th in Canada where you have to have your taxes done tonight. You will get that done because you don't want to deal with not having them done. But making sure that you're looking at, like, going through and spending a few minutes every week going over your financials. Oh, yes, wonderful. You put it up there.
Awesome.
Those are the things that help you see the things. Taking some time every week to doing your systems, putting your marketing plan in place, meeting with your advisory team, going over things. What are the things that you need to be doing? Number 2, having a consistent and well thought out and executed marketing plan.
Okay.
Because one of the things, I work with a lot of tradespeople, for example, and this is something I have to hammer on them over and over and over again, because they'll go through spurts where they've got so much business, like they're on the tools constantly. And they're going, I don't have time to market or anything. I'm so busy. And then they finish up the last of their jobs and they're going, oh boy, I have nothing to do. And then it's feast or famine, feast or famine. And I'm going, we need to get things set up so that your marketing is going no matter what, so that we can stabilize that business coming in. And that also comes down to taking a look at your numbers and learning the story so you can figure, okay, what do I need to be doing when? So I've got that regular business coming in, a lot more consistent. Take advantage of opportunities where a lot of people, okay, if you're planning on marketing for Christmas, if you're not doing anything till December 23rd, you kind of missed that boat.
That's right. Exactly. You got a plan for sure.
And knowing like when. So having that consistent and executed marketing plan. And there's
Mhm.
27 different ways that you can market your business. You don't need to do all of them. In fact, I try to don't even try. Find like 3-4 things tops that you enjoy doing and that you will do consistently, and then do them.
Right. Right. I love that. Great advice. What great advice. So, and as we get ready to close, I have another really important question that I think will really resonate with our audience. And that is around the area of scaling. So, how that can be a challenge because you want to do it. Most companies, most business owners want to scale their business, but as they're doing it, sometimes they can lose the quality of what it is that they're doing or the integrity of what it is that they're doing. So how do businesses scale without losing integrity and quality?
That comes back to the foundational piece of systems. So the more you can systematize, because there's so many people, especially when they're very good, like they're excellent at what they do. Everything's in their head. And I'm going, how is it? Where's your training? Where is it in your procedure manual that here's how you do this? Or where's your training videos and all the stuff where you're taking everything out of your head so that somebody else can follow your system and maybe not get the absolute perfect result that you do, but a 90 or 95% because you've made it consistent. Like you go, McDonald's is not the best food in the world, but it is one of the best systems, period. Because like literally you go back into the kitchen and they go, here's how you build the Big Mac, and it's put together. Here's your visuals. So it doesn't matter if you're going to Atlanta, Georgia, you're going to Calgary, Alberta, Canada, you're going to London, England, you order a Big Mac, you know what you're getting.
Yes.
Where when you have technicians that are very good, if it's not them doing it, the quality is hit or miss because they have to do it. Systems allow you to deliver more and better. And most importantly, consistently. You cannot scale if everything's in your head.
Ooh, that's facts. You cannot scale if everything is in your head. You absolutely cannot. Yes. And I love that resonates with me so much, just the importance of having people represent you or be able to step into your shoes if needed, and no one be able to tell that someone else is doing the work.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So important. So Tammy, how can listeners connect with you after today's show?
The two best places to find me are my website, which is ksabusiness.ca, or you could also find me on Instagram at ksa.business. Those are the two best places to find me.
Wow, what a beautiful website. I love the pink.
I'm very pink.
Yes, I see. I love that. And what a great looking Instagram page too, and great tips for business owners and entrepreneurs. So nice. I love that. So as we get ready to wrap up, Tammy, if nobody remembers a single thing you've said today, what is one piece of advice or one thing you want them to take away from today's show?
I would say Kaizen. Kaizen is a Japanese word, roughly translated, means constant and never-ending improvement. What can I do today to move me forward? What can I do today to improve? What can I do today to learn? It is the tiny steps taken consistently day in, day out that get us across the finish line. If you're only looking for quantum leaps, you're never going to get anywhere.
That is so true. And I hope we can Kaizen, Kaizen. Yeah. I love that. Consistent steps.
Yeah.
Repeated over and over and over again. And there's a whole, if you go to the library or you Google that, there's so many books about Kaizen, and it's so helpful. And I learned about it when I was working in corporate America for a biopharmaceutical firm. and we were dealing in lean manufacturing processes and just in time and Kaizen and all of the things to standardize our systems in the donor centers or something to that effect. So anyways, very familiar with the word and hadn't heard it in a long time. So you brought up some really fond memories for me. But yes, so true. Kaizen. Thank you for bringing that back up.
You are most
Be consistent. Be consistent and keep doing those developing those repeatable good habits, and your business is going to thrive. I love it. Tammy, you were made for something great. So go and be awesome.